Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Soulwork Manifesto. Now, this is going to be a very important conversation today. If you are a business owner who wants to actually get your voice heard online, I think that from every different angle, you've probably heard people telling you that you need to post more, that you need to show up on stories, that you need to show up on camera, that you need to share your voice, and you need to do it consistently, and you need to do it with authority, and you need to do it in your power. And while you may know that information, there is a huge gap between knowing what you need to do and actually being able to show up on social media or show up talking to camera like this in a way that feels grounded, in a way that feels that you have a level of conviction and belief in what you're saying. Because on the other side of that camera, if we are shaky in our voice, or if our voice tends to go like, and so today I just want to tell you guys about blah, 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 then we don't sound convicted. It feels like our belief in what we're talking about or what we're selling is shaky. And so the person on the other side, their intuition is kind of going, something seems off about this offer or about this person. They don't seem to truly believe in what they're saying or what they're selling. And the other option is for us to be like, speaking to camera feels like I want to jump out of my skin because there's a lot of fear around being seen, which is not just from this lifetime, but from like our ancestors. And that's a conversation for another day. But there's a very real fear of being seen, of being judged, of what are they going to think of me? Who will they think I am? All of that fear comes up when we show up on camera. So it is a lot easier for us to kind of just sit out of the arena and be like, well, I'll wait until I know exactly what I want to say. I'll wait until I'm confident. I'll wait until I have a certain level of success. Then I'll show up. I'll wait until I have a certain level in my bank account. Then I'll show up. Then I'll be confident. Then I can speak to camera. But that's not reality. The more that you show up and you practice using your voice as a tool, as the most powerful tool in your business, that's where the refinement in your voice comes from. That's where you can speak from the depth of your power. That's when you get clarity in the message that you want to bring forward, the message that you want to, your account, your channel to represent, because you are that embodiment of a message. And that comes back to knowing who you are, knowing what you truly believe in. And I remember when I first started my business, I was looking around at all these coaches and they were sharing their beliefs with such a deep level of conviction and clarity. And I remember thinking, like, I don't think I could speak with that level of confidence or that conviction. And I started to ask myself, like, why? Where is my voice wobbly? Where is it not in its, like, in that deep conviction? Where does it look like when I'm watching myself on camera that I'm lacking confidence in what I'm saying? And that question brought me to the question of, well, what do I believe? What do I stand for? How do I want to represent myself? How do I want to speak online? What is the message that I want to leave? What is the imprint that I want to leave? Because the content that we're putting out, if we want it to have an impact, we have to say something. And I think there's a lot of people online who are saying nothing. It's a lot of grabbing attention, a lot of like 5-second reels, a lot of like blah, blah, like quick wins. But what do we want our message? What do we want the message that we want to land, who do we want to hear it? How do we want them to feel? What is the impact, the legacy that we want to leave? How do we speak to be paid and not do it in a way where we're like constantly rushing, trying to get to the end? So I have this offer, and if you really want to get in, just drop me a DM and then I'll reply to you. And like rushing because we don't want to take up too much space, or we don't want to be seen like promoting ourselves or promoting our offers. So we kind of just, we rush through it, or we hide. We hide behind the camera. We don't actually show up, or we show up in a way that feels really small. Like, I don't want to take up too much space. I feel like I'm interrupting your feed, versus my presence is a gift. What I say matters. I matter. When I'm speaking, people listen. My voice is heard. Change happens. Transformation occurs. People want to buy from me. I start earning the level of impact that I know I deserve. I start getting the level of income and impact. And this comes as a result of me being able to use my voice as a tool in my business to move people. Because when I stay silent, when I hide, and I don't show up at all, nothing changes. No one buys. No one gets transformed by a message or feels like, wow, that mind shift really helped me. That really changed something for me. Where we start to get those DMs where we're reading them and we're like, oh my God, my word is being heard by the people who are meant to hear it. It's having life-changing impact in other people's lives. And your content can do that. You can do an Instagram live and it can change someone's life. I've had the most unreal testimonials from listening to my podcast or from something I said on TikTok. And somebody's like, I decided to leave my boyfriend, move across country, and now like I'm living in a whole new reality. These things get to happen when we use our voice. But when we are quiet, nothing happens. Change doesn't happen. And it's in no one's interests. You owe no one your smallness. There's nothing, it serves no one when we're hiding and when we're playing small. So we've got this voice that is like, you need to show up on camera, speak about, share your message. And then we've got this part of us that is like, how do I communicate? How do I articulate the value of what I want to say? And how do I overcome and get out of my own way? Because if you leave it up to me, there'll be perfectionism. I'll wait until it's perfect. There'll be procrastination. I'll do it next week when I've got my hair done, when I've got my nails done. I'll do it when I'm feeling better. I'll do it when I'm feeling like it. We'll put it off. Well, maybe next time, maybe next week. Unless we know why we're doing it. And we know that we're showing up not just to speak, it's not about me. It's about who am I doing this for? It's about doing it and setting the stage from a place of service. Your voice is in service to your mission. And your voice has a very specific frequency. Your story is unique to you. Your experiences are unique to you. Your timeline. The universe does not make mistakes. You have a very unique story and a way of expressing yourself. And when you feel deeply connected to that mission that you're on, to the movement that you are here to create with your life's work, then you feel like that your soul is lit up on fire and you can't help but show up on social media. You can't help but express yourself. And you become an open channel where the words are flowing through you in service to the ones that you are speaking to, the ones that you want to reach. That is who you are speaking to. And you are speaking to them on the subject, on the message. There's a difference between talking, which is, hey guys, so today, I had a smoothie and I had my little matcha and da. And some people do that, maybe an influencer, day in the life, a vlog, or someone comes to camera, hey guys, I just want to tell you about my boyfriend and blah, 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 blah. And they talk like talking to a best friend. That's like the influencer style. When you're an entrepreneur and you're building yourself as a leader or as a thought leader in your field, you are speaking on a subject. You are speaking, not just talking, hello, I'm here to speak on a subject. I have something to say. This is important and this matters. And I have something to say about it. And I have an opinion. I have a point of view. I've had time to think about this, time to contemplate this. And this is what I think. And we bring that forward. And you show up to speak on a subject. Now, to get to that level, to get out of our own way, and to be able to speak on a subject like that, there's something I've realized that we need, and something that became fundamental to helping me show up, and helping me show up in a way where I feel convicted, I feel grounded, I feel confident in what I want to say. And that is spending time with myself. Spending time with my journal, spending time just having a coffee and thinking about what I think about. Often people say, like, how do you know what to say? Or how do you know that? How did you think of that? And literally the key word is I sit with it. I sit and spend time and think. I ask myself powerful questions, and powerful questions get powerful answers. And those questions started with things like, well, who am I? Why am I here? Just small questions. Why am I here? What is my reason on this planet? What am I here to do? What was I born for? What are my gifts? And this took me down a path of like self-mastery, self-knowledge. I started to ask myself these reflective questions. And one of the biggest life-changing reframes was looking at every challenge, every pain as, what was this here to teach me? And now how can I share that as wisdom? How can I share that to a younger version of me? How can I share that so that it helps somebody else? Again, bringing it back from like, it's not about me. It's about how can this be of service to someone else? Because if I'm staying quiet, that nobody knows. Nobody knows until we use our voice and we tap within to our power, and we speak from a place of I am. And we spoke about this in the I am frequency. If you are part of the Allowed program in my mentorship, or I have an online course called Allowed, inside there we talk about the I am frequency. The I am frequency is, I know how powerful I truly am. And so I started to do this digging and spend time with myself and spend time in contemplation and spend time in just thinking about what I think about things. How I would, if somebody would put me on a podcast and ask me for my story, I could say it like this. If someone were to ask me what I think about this, I have an opinion. So it was spending time thinking, getting to know myself. And then I discovered and got into the tools of astrology and human design. And there are hundreds of different modalities that you can use as tools, as portals, as mirrors into learning about yourself, into being witnessed and seeing yourself from a new perspective. You decide which one works for you. These are the two tools that were the most powerful and transformational in my journey in getting to know who I am. What am I here to do? How am I here to express myself so that my voice is heard? And when I started to dive into these tools, it was more like a confirmation of something that I already knew. It was deep, deep, deep down. I knew these things about myself. I knew that as a child, I always liked to spend my times writing stories. I love to make up beautiful little imagination stories, like wild little fantasy stories. And then when I was looking into my astrology and I was looking at my North Node, it was like, you are here. Your sole purpose, your soul is craving self-expression. It's craving being a communicator, taking ideas and making them practical and making them easy to understand. That was when I read that, I was like, a part of me was like, yeah, like I know that I took it as confirmation. And it was so powerful to see that information, like look at it down on a piece of paper, see yourself reflected back, and realize this is where comparison dissolves. This is where comparison dissolves, because you start to see that we are all pieces within this amazing cosmic puzzle, and you are here to share your unique experiences, your unique story. You're not here to look left and look right at it's so easy to look at somebody else and go, well, she's saying it like this. She believes that. Should I believe that too? She's saying it like this. I like that. I want to copy her. I want to be like her. It's so easy in business to look to your left and to look to your right. But where the flow will start to happen is when you start to focus on your timeline. You start to focus on your lane. You start to spend time with what wants to come through you. You become an open channel because you know you. And you're confident in how you show up when you want to use your voice because you've seen you. You've heard you. You've validated you before you showed up. So you are ready to hold whatever comes back as feedback, the good and the bad. You're able to hold both because you don't rely on that validation. You've already validated yourself. You've already seen yourself. You know why you are here. You know what mission you are on. And you know that you have a specific way of expressing yourself. You have your voice, God-given voice for a reason. The way that you speak, these are unique to you. And these are going to connect with somebody who's on the other side. And they've been waiting for someone like you. They've been looking for someone like you, just waiting for you to raise your hand and lead, to raise your voice and speak, to realize that you are the one who is here to lead this conversation. What does it cost if your voice is not heard in the world? What happens if your voice is not heard? Why does it matter that your voice is heard? These are some of the questions that we want to sit with so that when it comes time to show up on camera, that self-doubt, that questioning, that overthinking dissolves. And we simply focus on, why am I doing this? And that is why I developed the Soulwork Manifesto, because it is so easy to lose that connection. Like when we're in flow and we're feeling connected to source and we're feeling like soul aligned, we're following our alignment, then things are flowing. But when we fall out of disconnection, when we forget, we have this manifesto that we can come back to help us remember. It's just remembering that this is who I am. This is who I'm for. This is who I am choosing to become. I'm choosing to become the highest version of myself. I'm choosing to become the leader, the one who leads. When I become the one, I attract the one. Okay, so let's get into your Soulwork Manifesto workbook. So this is about bringing your deepest truths and meeting them with the world's greatest needs. Your voice is the bridge. So this guide has been divided into two parts. Part one is the unearthing of the mountain of value that you are already sitting on. And we're going to be using the tools of those self-contemplation questions, astrology, key aspects only, and human design. Both of those modalities go way deeper. Obviously, there's a lot more depth to them. But what I'm bringing forward is the ones that I have found most helpful in how I practically apply them, like in my day-to-day life, in my day-to-day business. They're things that I often come back to. And one of the things we want to remember is that with this information, we're looking at the highest, most empowering characteristics of each sign or of each of these information. The information that we get from any kind of modality, astrology, gene keys, any kind of personality test, should never limit you. It should never become like, well, I'm a Pisces, that means I'm too sensitive to do something like this. It's just who I am, right? We never want to be limited and defined by any modality. Because at the end of the day, you are the creator, you choose, you decide how you use this information. So in part two, we're going to bring this all together into a really beautiful and precise and powerful and emotional declaration. It's a declaration, aka manifesto. It is what you are up to in the world and what are the principles that are guiding you. Because those are going to be the common ground that connect you to the ones that are going to be part of your movement. That's the common ground. Those beliefs, those values that you have are what your audience shares with you. And so when you put out a public-facing manifesto and you say, this is who I am for, this is the change that I want to create in the world, this is the way that the world changes when we are doing this work, then that is calling in that audience to you. That is literally like your magnet that is attracting the ones who are meant for you to you. Like a lighthouse attracting the ships at sea, you are saying, I am the one for you. So in part one, we've got astrology. If you have your birth chart and you've done all of astrology before and you know your stuff, cool. You may just want to like plug it in here so you can have easy access to it. If you don't have your birth chart, my recommended source is here. You can just click the link. And then if you want an interpretation, you go to Claude AI or you go to ChatGPT and you use this prompt to get an interpretation of what it all means. And then you're going to fill it out here. So the first sign that we're looking at is your North Node. Your North Node is your soul's purpose and your calling in this lifetime. And then when you look up the house that it's in, it's going to give you more information on that. Your South Node is your comfort zone. This is what you have already mastered in a past life. Like this is familiar to you. You know this. If you are in the zone, life's good, it's comfortable. But your North Node is what you are being called to step into. This purpose that, again, when I read mine, I was like, oh, wow. Like my whole life, I felt that calling and have naturally tended towards that. Your rising sign are the characteristic traits that you are meant to lean into when you are expressing yourself. And we can think about this in business, how we express ourselves in business, how we express ourselves through our branding. So for me, my personality is Pisces. I'm intuitive, watery, whispering to trees, creative. But my rising sign is Leo. And Leo is fully expressed. Leo is confident. Leo loves the spotlight. And so that feels like out of my comfort zone. But when I lean into those characteristics, when I'm speaking on camera, when I'm doing my branding, I lean into that fiery aspect of my rising sign. That is how I am here to express myself. I'm here to learn that. And actually, my husband is a Leo, and so I learn a lot from him. Your Chiron is something simply to be aware of. This is the wound that you are here to heal. We don't want to get stuck there. We just want to be aware that there is this part of us that needs healing, that needs extra focus. Maybe we want to invest in a course, invest in a mentor, invest in a tutor. It might be something like speaking freely. It might be something like financial stability. Your Chiron will just indicate an area where we want to make sure that we are investing some time to develop that skill. Next is human design. I love human design. I find that when we are in alignment with our human design, things really start to flow. If you are new to it, it's basically like an energetic blueprint into how you operate, into your energetic blueprint is the best way to say it, okay? Now, if you don't have your chart, again, I've included a link here so you can get it. Then you want to upload it into your AI with a prompt to ask for an interpretation so you can know what all of this information means. You're going to get a lot of information back, but we want to focus on 3 key areas for your human design. Number 1 is, how do you make decisions? If you want to make a big, bold, courageous decision in your business, what is the best way for you to make that decision? Okay, and this is going to differ depending on what feedback you get back on your chart. You might be an emotional authority. An emotional authority is going to find themselves having very much emotional waves without very high highs and get really excited about something and want to buy something or want to do something, or they'll have like, a lower wave. But you want to ride out the wave and make a decision from a place where you're feeling more neutral, when you're feeling more clarity around something. So this might be like, literally like, I'm going to sleep on it. Tomorrow morning, I'll make the decision. So it's about finding that neutral clarity when you're about to make those decisions. For a sacral authority, so I'm a sacral authority, I'm a generator, and my best decisions come from that first initial gut instinct. When I respond to something and my gut feels like it's uh-huh or uh-uh. That's what it feels like. And that can be like, we can practice getting in tune with that, because we've been so conditioned in our mind to use our mind, and we get into that overthinking that we can lose connection to this actual, our authority, how we best make decisions in the world. Then you've got your strategy. This is something that I use every single day. So your strategy is, how do you know when your soul is in alignment or out of alignment? So for a generator, it is when you are doing something that makes you feel satisfied, a sense of satisfaction. It's like, even if you're working all day, but you feel like, oh, I got that done. I did that. Or I filmed that video, sense of satisfaction. I had that amazing coffee in the morning, sense of satisfaction. When you start to feel like you're sitting in front of your laptop and you're feeling frustrated, that's a sign. Close the laptop down, go for a walk, go to the beach, go do something that's going to make you feel satisfied. And when you start to do things that make you feel satisfied, that's where breakthroughs happen. That's where those ideas just drop in, those intuitive nudges, those hits start to come in, because you're in alignment. Then you've got your profile or your lines. You're going to get 2 numbers here. This is about your conscious and unconscious personality traits. And based on your lines, what I would do is I would Google profile 2-4 in human design. I would look up more information about that, or I would enter that into your ChatGPT, start to get more information about what your profile represents. And then I've got a little mantra for you. So you will get 2 numbers. So I am a 1-4. So these are my 2 mantras, is for the 1 and 4. So look at your 2 numbers and then come back and get your mantra. Now, these are beautiful tools that can help us have portals into ourselves. But the most powerful tool that you can always tap into is just that stillness, just that coming and going deeper and deeper within. Starting to ask yourself powerful questions that get powerful answers. So when you look at what was a challenge that almost crushed you, what did that teach you? If you experience it, you can teach it. You don't need a certification to teach it. You experienced it. You are ready to share it. If you are a line 6, if you are aligned 6 in human design, it is literally in your design to share through your stories, not through theory, not through information. You are here to share through your stories. So, and we all have this ability of tapping into what have we been through? What did it teach us? How can I teach this to somebody else? Look into what are the patterns that you've broken in your life? What are the patterns that you kept coming up against? And then you kind of like broke that pattern. What is a mindset shift that you used to have and now you have a new one? And how did that change your life? So a part of building that conviction in your message is understanding the value that you're already sitting on. Another part of building that conviction is knowing where you're going. It's knowing who you are being called to become, that most soul-aligned version of you, the one who is showing up, the one who is using her voice and being fully expressed, the one who has the level of impact, the level of income that you truly desire. Who is she? What does she believe? What does she think about? How does she move? What does a day in a life look like for her? When we feel deeply connected to this expansion of ourselves, it's like, this is why I'm doing it. This is why I'm showing up on camera. And it feels hard, but in the process, I know that I'm learning something. I know that I'm becoming more confident. I'm becoming a woman with more clarity in my vision. I'm a woman who's refining my voice. And so what happens when you show up and you use your voice? You start to build that dream business. You start to attract the opportunities to you. And then you start to think, who is that future version of me? Who is this one who is fully embracing who she is, claiming her space, and being fully expressed in what she truly believes? And stepping into the potential of your voice, stepping into the highest alignment of your soul. So one of the most beautiful exercises is that you can start writing out your biggest, grandest vision for your business, for your life, and then put it into ChatGPT or Claude AI, and then say, write a detailed day in her life. The result is like chills. It's really beautiful to read out in detail. It's something that you can journal on. It's something that you can start to think about, and let this light aspire in your soul when it comes to what you need to do today, when you need to show up today. Knowing what it's all for is really going to help you be like, okay, let's go. I'm here to lead this. I am the one. I know I've got this experience. I know who I want to become. I know the version of me, why I'm doing this in the first place. And then this is the conviction. This is the why you are using your voice, and why you are overcoming and dissolving all those like fears and doubts and stuff that comes up. So now we've got a lot of information. We've got a lot of insights. I want to make this as practical and useful for you that you can come back to it and check in. This is just something that connects you back in alignment. And you come back as this reminder that you truly are this unique gift on this planet, and we need your voice. We need your voice in your way. And we need you in your highest life force energy. That is where your human design comes in. When you are in alignment with your human design, your energy goes up. And we need you in that level of energy, with that level of conviction, knowing who you are, knowing that your voice is needed and deserves to be heard. And finally, part 2. This is the public manifesto. This is what you are putting out on social media. After this, once you've written it, you are posting it, you are putting it out there. This is what is going to light your soul on fire when you start questioning, when you feel that doubt, when you forget. We get to come back and remember. And this is really powerful in taking your story from me, my, and I, and making it in service to we, the community, our story. What are we here to change? What is the movement that we are now on? What is the change that we want to see in the world? This is a powerful declaration of your mission and who you are for. What are the common values that you share? What are the common beliefs that you share? What is the vision that you share for the world? What is the imprint, the legacy that you want to leave behind? Right? This is for the ones who. Together we are changing. What are we changing? So that, how does the world change as a result? So I've got some examples here. One of my favorite is Apple's Manifesto. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can praise them, disagree with them, quote them, disbelieve them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They invent, they imagine, they heal, they explore, they create, they inspire, they push the human race forward. Maybe they have to be crazy. How else can you stare at an empty canvas and see a work of art, or sit in silence and hear a song that's never been written, or gaze at a red planet and see a laboratory on wheels? While some of them see them as the crazy ones, we see them as genius, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Powerful. That is a clear declaration of the kind of people that they are for, and a celebration of what makes them different and the work that they are up to in the world. So put some music on, get your pen, get your journal out, write a manifesto that is going to light a fire within you, that is going to move you. Because if it moves you, it's going to move them. And you're showing up from a place of, when I speak, things change. And I know the change that I'm here to create in the world. So you're showing up in that deep conviction why your voice is needed and the cost of your voice not being heard. That is the bridge. Your voice is the bridge between your deepest truths and the world's greatest needs. And if you are like, done, I'm all in, I'm fired up, I know that I want my voice to be heard, I know that I desire another level of impact, another level of income, I desire to be a fully expressed person, then my program Aloud is where I will activate the voice within you. The one that already exists, the courage that already exists. And we will work together on you getting out of your own way so that you can show up and sell with confidence. You can show up and share your message with confidence, grounded in your conviction. And you can start to see the ripple effect of you sharing your message with the world. So if you are interested in working together with me, send me a DM on Instagram, drop me an email. Let's talk about how we elevate your message, how we refine what you want to say, and how to express that in your highest level. And let's get your voice out there.